So welcome to the Storytellers episode. The idea here was we would listen to some Storytellers VH1 CDs, some MTV Unplugged CDs that Rayburn and I both got to pick.
Yep.
We had a list. We were also supposed to write 10 stories from songs and lists we've previously done.
Rayburn doesn't know how to follow instruction, and she's never, been here before, so she doesn't know.
That's okay. You'll hear a lot of me talking is what's
great.
What's about to
I love it.
Welcome back to Rated Radio with your hosts, Rayburn Alexander and Shane Wyndham. Rayburn, what Billboard hit did we cover this week?
Wait, were we really supposed to do a Billboard hit? I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
Our Billboard hit that we covered this week was Till You Can't by Cody Johnson.
What did you think?
If you've lost a loved one, you'll truly identify with the message of this song. This country track offers up the message that our time on this earth is fleeting and to take the risks and enjoy the little moments while you can today. 4 heartfelt stars.
Look, okay, I really didn't need this trite, sappy, musically predictable shit smacking me in the face with its message of regret avoidance, but here we are.
Oh, don't even lie. You fucking love this melancholy bullshit.
The wild thing about country music is how it sometimes manages making you sad at the same time it's inspiring you to be more appreciative of the people you still have. I suppose it may be that messages like this only sink like stones in the hearts of those who've already experienced one or more devastating losses. Moving lyrics and a punchy-ass hook quickly drove this into 5-star territory for me, and I'm not ashamed to admit that this track has already been listened to enough times to make my top songs playlist for Spotify's 2022 Wrapped. I just know it's going to be there, making my emotional state its bitch on every damn spin.
Shane, you know what? I appreciate the fuck out of you.
Roll the intro.
I'm so glad my feelings are reciprocated.
So you appreciate me, huh?
Yeah, well, not anymore. You can go fuck yourself.
What is it? Why are you always looking to make this like a
heartfelt thing? I'm sorry.
Oh my God, I'm so happy I paid subscription fee to this podcast so I can listen to Shane and Rayburn tell each other that they love each other.
Oh my God. I'm not that dramatic. Give me a break. Well, you know what? Sometimes it beats us telling each other, you know what? Fuck you for your musical opinion.
What's it like to be with you? I'm your cousin. Most of all this shit goes unsaid.
Ask your wife.
And still you come at me after like 10 seconds of me not. I'm so glad that my feelings are reciprocated.
Ask your wife. She's with me, essentially.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Blue and Megan are convinced that you and I are the same person and that they are the same person sometimes. The is there. You will do like this heartfelt thing or try to make something.
I think it's the your wife is with me thing that just flipped my brain into what the fuck territory?
Get your mind out of the gutter, man.
Oh my God. Okay. So I think if I'm supposed to be running this show, we're going to go through my albums first.
Yeah.
Then we're going to tell some stories.
Yes.
Then we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
We're going to tell some more stories, go through Rayburn's albums.
Question, though.
This is going to be a genuine shit show today.
Yeah.
I'm so glad this is a special.
People are paying for this. We got him. Question, though.
These nuts.
Are we ranking these, or are we just talking about them? How are we ranking them?
I went full hog. Like top, middle, bottom for your picks, for my picks.
Okay, I can do that.
I treated it as a versus.
Because I would have, done all 6 of them. Top, second, middle. But then I got to the 6 and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to categorize this as. So I'm fine with doing what you did.
I did me versus you.
Got it.
And when you said you would have done all 6, I'm over here like, I would have fucked all 6 of these albums, okay? They were looking hot, and I wanted to fucking bang them.
I would give some of these albums some tender love and care, and I would just spit and step on other ones. But let's get to it.
All right. First album that I picked was the MTV Unplugged album by Alice in Chains from 1996. This was my middle album.
This was my bottom album for you.
Out of 13 tracks, I gave 7 5s.
I gave 1 5.
My top track was Down in a Hole.
My top track was Nutshell.
My bottom track was The Killer Is Me.
And my bottom track was Sludge Factory.
I gave it a 5. It hurts. This is here because my brother-in-law Joseph won't stop talking about the group, and that's left me interested in hearing this acoustic live effort. The music is low-key, the exact sort of music I'd like to have a full band behind me whenever I write a song. It's just so chill and unique in the realm of 90s grunge. I like it quite a bit more than my 5s let on. I just wish there was less riff repetition and more punchy hooks.
For me, this is grungy. The gruff, dirty vocals and accompaniment fit well in a live format. Bass is probably my favorite throughout, so that's that.
Are you going to be in the next Howard Stern movie, riding like a speaker with the bass turned all the way up?
My dad already calls me Robin Gibbons, so sure.
Sorry.
That's what he calls me.
That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. He's like, all right, Robin Gibbons, calm the fuck down. Okay, all right, fuck you, Dad.
We haven't talked much about Alice in Chains. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. I will just say, and I think I may have said this before as part of a list, but the dual vocal harmonies in Alice in Chains, you hear nowhere else. It's phenomenal. Both of those voices and the fact that when you put them together, they sound that good. Oh. Chef's kiss. Isn't that what you do?
Yeah, that's what I do. Okay, all right.
The next album we covered, which I kind of felt like a dick for because it's a double album and...
It's okay, I got you back.
Yes,
fine.
You did. And so my feeling like a dick quickly stopped. It's Across a Wire by the Counting Crows from 1998. This was my top album.
This was my middle album.
Out of the 22 tracks, I gave 17 5s.
I gave 6 5s. Why am I not surprised that you gave it that many 5s and it was your top? I just knew as I was listening to it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They earned it, okay?
I mean, it was fine.
They earned 17
okay,
5s,
right.
not 6. Get out of my face space, Reverend.
I do have a question to ask you, but let's keep going.
My top track was Round Here from disc 2, I should add, and this is one of my favorite songs of all time. This version specifically.
My top track was Sullivan Street. Don't ask me, was there 2 Sullivan Streets or just 1? Because there are 2 different locations in New York, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the first half of the album is at one location and the second half is with a completely different backing band in a separate venue.
Oh my God. And the cover picture is a picture of New York, but it was actually taken in New Jersey.
Okay. You know entirely too much about this. All right. Moving on to your bottom track.
It was Walkaways.
For me, it was Ghost Train.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, reeling. Okay,
Yeah,
notes. Let me read my notes here. With 1 acoustic disc and 1 electric, the band took some chances here, reworking certain songs into seemingly new forms. The music is phenomenal, and though the vocals can be too subdued in spots, the payoff lands far more often than not. If you like the first 2 Crows albums but haven't heard this, you are missing out.
You can't beat the classic acoustic backing in the first half of the double album. Vocals are clear, sounds intimate, and that's not just because of the venue. This is alternative grunge, but can be a bit erratic in places, and I loved the piano in the second half. So, yes, they earned their spot, I guess. More on that later.
The last album that I picked is, again, one I've never heard. I'd heard the Crows album. It's the only one I knew. Hadn't heard this in its entirety. It's Dashboard Confessional's MTV Unplugged 2.0 from 2002. This was my bottom album.
This is my top album.
Out of the 15 tracks, I gave 13 5s.
I gave 5 5s.
My top track was The Brilliant Dance.
My top track was Living in Your Letters.
And that was my bottom track. I love the song, to be clear. I just hate the mixing here.
And my bottom track was For You to Notice.
Curiosity got the best of me here.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to hear how an acoustic outfit would handle an unplugged session. They're kind of the same thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What you get on those early Dashboard Confessional albums, that's what you usually get with an unplugged album.
Yeah.
But the answer to that question that I had is to turn things into a sort of sing-along and have the songs feel brighter And though I rated things high, these are great songs after all, something feels wrong about this. I can't go to the sad bastard place with people so clearly happy to be hearing Chris perform live. The volume for track mixing is wildly uneven as well. The album isn't anything close to bad, but I'd recommend the studio versions over all of these. Minimal storytelling, overkill drums, not my bag.
This is soft vocals with the audience inclusion. It's touching. Shane might not agree, especially because it consists of a bunch of probably horny teenage girls, but I digress. Speaking of horny teenage girls, I would be so into this if I was there. I would probably have been one of them back in the day. But this is alternative, emo, emotional rock. I've always liked the lead singer's vocals, and I just think in this unplugged setting, it's nice. So
yeah, I know it's not his voice and it's not just the way he's performing, it's the way they mixed it. Mm-hmm. But seriously, if you go to listen to this, I felt parallels to what you hear on Michael Jackson songs. Okay. Like his voice. And then when you hear him talk in an interview.
Okay.
Like he kind of talks like this, you know, it's kind of, it's.
Okay.
That's where I was. Chris, what the fuck?
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm going to take your word for that because you've been an avid Dashboard Confessional listener longer than me.
Yes.
So.
There's a picture actually of Alyssa in my lap when we were very young at your parents' house.
I know exactly the one you're talking about.
And I think a few seconds later, we took the one of Logan propped up in the top of the door.
Oh, this like standing or the thing that he used to do when fucking spider monkey crawling across.
Crawl his way up to the top of the door. Yeah.
That was the happiest. That was the last happiest I've ever seen Alyssa.
And we were listening. Picture. We were listening to Dashboard Confessional in your parents' room because I had just bought those first 2 CDs after discovering the band online. I had to have it, and I was so happy to be hearing it.
The first Dashboard Confessional CD I ever got was from you for a birthday one year. You went out and bought me CD cases, one particular CD case. It was a denim CD case with brown flowers on it. You filled it with pre-mixed CDs that I guess you were, trying to, even then, still trying to get a handle on my musical taste. And it included a Dashboard Confessional CD. And I wore that motherfucker out. And I'm pretty sure I still have it somewhere. I could tell you exactly what it looked like. And it was in your handwriting, your classic Shane Wyndham handwriting. And I just remember being like, this is the gift. It was great.
Yeah.
Had a handle on it, too.
I don't want to knock the memory.
Don't knock my memory, man.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to walk a fine line, but I'm going to do a piss poor job of it. I want to avoid pissing certain people off. But those mixes were so easy to make for people because I had them pre-done. Because I used to make Cali a lot of mixes. So then I would just, pump them out into the CD cases for friends and family.
Yeah, but you still compiled it.
I mentioned, and you're telling a story, by the way. Who would have thought?
I know. I'm a person with stories. A
line in Tori Amos track, name of it slips my mind right now for some damn reason. Something like Best Year. That's not the name of the song.
Okay.
But she says, Greg, he writes letters and burns his CDs. They say you were something in those formative years. Totally me back then.
Okay.
So, storytellers.
Hold on.
Supposed to tell some stories.
Yeah, well, I want to ask you something that's completely unrelated. So before I came here, I was watching St. Elmo's Fire. You love St. Elmo's Fire. And I have a speculation as to which character you identify most with.
Okay.
Have you ever seen yourself or seen similarities between you and a character in St. Elmo's Fire?
If you're pulling this in relation to what I was just talking about, I have a feeling you're going towards the Emilio Estevez character, and that really saddens me.
No, you're not Kirby to me. Are you a romantic? Yes, but...
No, I think it's the dude that ends up sleeping with his friend's girl.
That's exactly who I was going to pick. Exactly.
I don't know the movie front and back or whatnot, but...
Kevin. I think that's his name. Yeah, yes, the one that everybody thinks is gay, but he's actually in love with his best friend's girl, Ally Sheedy.
Not just because it's Ally Sheedy either.
I mean, she's adorable in that.
You know who's adorable in that movie is the dork girl. Like the blonde.
Yeah, with the Spanx.
So adorable.
My question also is, who would I be? Who would I be?
Oh my God.
Because I feel like I identify with somebody, but I'm probably going to get offended with your choice.
You're the Emilio Estevez character. How about that?
No.
What do you want me to say? You're coked out somewhere? I don't fucking know.
No, I felt a kindred spirit with Ali Sheedy's character.
Oh, okay.
I always have.
So somehow you managed to turn this into
incest.
Oh my God. Okay. More questions to come during the Storytellers episode.
Awesome.
So my first pick was from my Songs to Play at Work playlist. It was Anything by May. Name of the song is Anything. Mm-hmm. Back when I lived with Codes, to say the very least, I was going through some things all at once.
You getting emotional over there?
No, I just had a lot of spit in my mouth. Sort of like my first solid hit of adulting came on all at once, but we were still partying damn near every night of the week. There was so much drama, suffering, and even danger in life's mix then, but I look back fondly on it as one of the best parts of my life. We'd get up and clean the place most every morning, chatting with some music or SpongeBob going in the background. I knew he was going through some of the same hardships, yet he always seemed so calm. And as we talked, he'd always throw little bumper sticker advice at me in his smart-ass way. Things like, help yourself before you go helping everyone else, and try not hearing opinions that don't pay the rent. Those little moments helped me be less anxious and taught me a lot about what kind of person I wanted to be, the kind who takes care of business, makes time to chase goals, and doesn't get so worked up all the time. I'd usually trek down to... You look so bored.
No, I'm thinking about some things while listening to what you're saying.
I'd usually trek down to the park for a long walk after those chats, and I remember hearing this song a lot, so hearing it now takes me back to those somewhat better, somewhat worse moments, and I lean on the reminder most when I'm feeling like work woes are the end of the world, because they aren't. It helps me realize that.
And in case you missed it, the subject for this particular list is songs not found on Spotify.
No, that's the break.
Oh, what are we talking about?
We were supposed to pick 10 random songs from our lists over the past season and tell more stories. We have one story to tell during the break.
Hey, Shane, did you know the mayor of a historical district in Alaska is a cat named Stuplos? Have a great day.
Stubbs.
Stuplos.
Stubbs.
I'm going with Stuplos.
Have a great day, Sam. You know what's fucked up? I was throwed. That was a...
Shane has a note in here in his office, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, you were
not from anyone I know. That's
really?
It scared me to put that up there, actually, because I know some Sams.
Yeah, I mean, I do. We know some Sams together. And I was
like,
want
the wife coming in the office like...
Who's Sam? Who the fuck is Sam?
Anyway, so... You're pretending to be my wife. I get it now. I thought you were seriously asking me the question. Like,
I mean, I am.
I'm storytelling. I'm not going down those roads. You know, I will here in a minute. Fuck it.
Okay, good.
No, I had DoorDashed some Schlotzky's one day.
And they left a note.
They left that note.
I love it.
On the bag, and I just thought this person's going to get ahead in life. They're DoorDash driver right now, but one of these days. Like they're going to deliver to somebody who's just going to be like, all right, hire this fucking person, figure out who they are and give them a job.
I love DoorDash people that like go the extra mile. And it's sad because, I mean, I guess you can adjust the tip after they leave, but...
Don't adjust the tip.
No, in a positive way. Like they leave a note, adjust it a little bit and be like...
Just the tip is...
Oh my God.
Yeah, take that ad off.
All right.
Whatever.
Yeah, I have no story. That
was my end. That was my moment to tell the next story is when I managed to shut you up for whatever reason.
Yeah.
She's not offended by her own incestual leanings in her mind, but for some reason...
I know I'm actually disappointed that I didn't come to the table with stories because I'm a fucking idiot, so...
I know a number of Sams, by the way. There is Blue's sister. Mm-hmm. There is one of my bosses from Sally Beauty. There's the Sam that your parents are friends with that we grew up with.
Big boy.
Yeah, big boy.
Yeah.
And then there's
miss him.
One of my best friends of all time is a girl named Sam.
Okay.
Who you've never met.
No, I don't think I have.
No, you've not.
No.
Second pick for me.
This is Shane's special.
It wasn't supposed to be.
I know it wasn't supposed to be. I know it's my fault. But you know what? I like hearing your stories anyway.
I'll put a fucking disclaimer on the thing that says mostly Shane.
Mostly Shane. The Mostly Shane special.
Second story for me is from a Songs for Your Secret Crush list. Song's called A House of Many Rooms by Mike and the Mechanics. I put this song on the list for my crushes because I routinely feel hard to love, if not downright unlovable. And I'm sure most people feel this way too, but experience has taught me that I do have certain unique and fairly extreme viewpoints which don't fit the typical narrative of love. Primarily that I have some nomadic tendencies and don't feel made to love only one person. My goal is to remain forthright about those aspects of my personality because anyone unprepared to accept my layers is not going to be able to love me in the long term. Even a crush deserves this sort of knowledge. Both literally and figuratively, I live in a house of many rooms. And if you're looking for someone who will always fit the same mold, I'm not for you.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm bringing something to the table now. I'm piggybacking off of you. We're winging this shit.
Piggyback.
All right.
I'm hungry. Made me think about bacon and ham and shit.
My pick from the same list that Shane picked, that's top 10 songs for your secret crush. Oh my God. Mine's gonna be Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol. One significant moment in mine and Blue's relationship, which he doesn't even know that this occurred to me, was right when we started getting physically intimate. Yep, I'm taking it there.
He doesn't know that this occurred to her. Not that this.
No, he was very aware that action was occurring.
He knew this occurred. Go ahead.
In my head, in my heart, after we would do the deed, one particular time, this song was playing, and I could remember just thinking, if I can live in this moment forever, I'll be happy.
Song in my heart, cheeseburger in my hand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's my song. That's my story. It may not be as drawn out as Shane's, but hey, it's a story.
Yeah. Winging it.
Yeah. Winging it.
Mother by Pink Floyd from Songs Drunk People Love. This is one of those songs that Joel used to want me to sing as he played the guitar part when we were both drunk. One night, I remember having to cross the street with Corey to get something out of a vending machine. As we're putting coins in the machine, we hear my Aunt Jennifer's fart CD. Literally just a compilation you could buy of over-the-top fart noises.
Who would listen to that?
Jennifer. And it's blaring across the street behind us. We're in the middle of Crum, middle of the night, an apartment complex in the second story, and it's just fucking fart CD. Anyway, everyone at the party, except for Joel, is watching us, laughing like mad. I guess they were imagining it was us farting, or that people on the street would think it was us farting, or maybe just that we'd be embarrassed by farting. I don't know. Fuck knows with a bunch of drunks. Anyway, we get back and everyone's super high energy except for Joel, who begged me to do Floyd's Mother with him. Sounded really wrong.
How dare you? It's almost Mother's Day.
He begged me to perform Pink Floyd's Mother with him. While I know Joel had his high-energy drunken excursions as well, I always appreciated how malleable he was to being chill when lit. Hearing this song now makes me sad that I'm not as close to the guy as I used to be. He was better to me on more occasions than most people will ever even get the chance to be, and there was nothing in it for him but my friendship. That, for me, is the true measure of a friend.
I will say, as much as farts are funny, I will probably choose Floyd's Mother over funny farts any day.
You haven't heard the fart CD, to be fair.
I mean, find it. Show it to me.
It was ridiculous.
My story for top songs drunk people love is Shoop by Salt and Peppa. Yeah, I was drunk when I realized that I knew every word to Salt and Peppa's Shoop. And I've turned it into an art form and performing it every time I hear it on the radio or my Spotify. So I'm just counting down the days to where I can take it to a karaoke bar and just blind everybody with how white I really am.
I'm so glad this went somewhere else. When you brought up Shoop, I immediately just imagine, like, every time she starts telling a story, I used to fuck to this song, and
my God.
I felt so good after that. If I could just live in that moment of after fuck, I would do it. Just like, whose jizz is this? I know whose jizz it is, and it makes me so happy.
Okay, you're taking...
Peaches, again, whose jizz is this?
Yeah, You know what, Shane? Rub. Moving on.
Oh, from the list, Songs to Listen to in the Woods, I'm No Stranger to the Rain by Keith Whitley. As kids, my sisters and I always played in the rain. and we're never quick to get in out of it. Even as a kid, there was always a moral to be found in how much fun and beauty other kids missed by running for cover at the first sign of a downpour. So don't be like those kids, or like those adults walking around under their umbrellas. Let yourself be like Gene Kelly when it rains. Same goes for when it rains in your personal life, or on your mental state. Go with the flow, smile on your face, and know you'll be okay. Life's about so much more than being serious all the time. And if you're caught in a web of existence that can't square that fact, then go get lost in the woods for a while with a song like this playing. You'll be better for it.
My story from Songs to Listen to in the Woods is Earth by Lil Dicky. Yes, I'm a troll. I don't give a shit. This was my song that I would continuously listen to when I would walk my dog in our local nature preserve. It just made me really appreciate the natural surrounding around me. I love being in wooded areas, period. But being able to be in, something like a nature preserve or some sort of grand park, it makes you realize how small of a speck you are on this grand planet and all of its creatures. And plus, I'm a little bit bitter because now my family has just discovered the song after I was wearing everyone out months ago about how good it is. Now they've jumped on the bandwagon. So Shane, I feel a little bit of your bandwagon frustration there.
As you should, because I don't know this song. But we've talked about that with Lil Dicky. I know Molly. It's the only one I ever really appreciated.
You know what? That's the only one you ever need to listen to.
Okay, well there you go.
It's so good.
Redeemed. Songs for the weekend. My pick here was Lucky by 7 Mary 3. On at least 2 occasions that I can recall, both Austin and Codes got throwed at parties and asked me to perform this song on my guitar. It makes for a good sing-along song, sure, but it's not exactly a bright or shiny party song. In fact, it's quite sad and introspective. It meant a lot to me though, having friends specifically request that I essentially bring everyone at the parties down by just being myself made me feel like all of us have a place to belong, so long as we can surround ourselves with the right people. And this is here because my weekends got a lot better once I stopped being so afraid of letting my darker characteristics show through that mask of best foot forward. The lesson? If no one gets to see the real you, no one's ever going to appreciate the real you. So don't water yourself down.
Yeah. Be you, boo-boo. All right. My story for Songs for the Weekend. I went with Fly As Me by Silk Sonic. And if you don't know, Silk Sonic is Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. Recently, I mentioned in our season 7 ender that I had purchased a 1989 C4 Corvette because I was jealous at the fact that my spouse gets to ride around in something much cooler than my Kia, even though he does his fair share of rolling around in my Kia. Anyway, I got jealous and, simply put, I wanted to be as fly as him. And in turn, he's fly as me. So now that I have my vehicle, we got to take our first cruise with each other. And while I do miss being in the passenger seat and getting to experience things together, there's a whole new level of equality now that I have my own. And it also helps that as we were riding down the road, we were flipping each other off. So we were riding in tandem. So there's just something about it that we've discovered a whole new level of mutual love and respect for each other. So
sorry for making paper noise during the middle of your story. I feel like we should have a shirt that just says, I get jealous on it.
I get jealous. Okay.
Sell the shit out of that.
Oh, don't tempt me.
We should make a whole line of
Spit
red
on
flag
it.
shirts.
Spit on it just a little.
Just a little.
And I get jealous. I get jealous.
Fucking spit on it a lot. Oh, I care. I don't give a fuck. Just spit on it.
Okay. Moving on.
Let's take our break.
Yeah.
So what was our list for the week?
Our list for the week was songs not on Spotify. And goddamn, did you have to give us like the most complicated list? I struggled.
Like it sounds straightforward. Just songs that
songs not on Spotify. First of all, how do you know when a song's not on Spotify? They take songs, they giveth and they taketh away pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And yeah, some of them are grayed out, but I created a playlist of songs not found on Spotify. Guess how many of them are left in the last 48 hours?
How many?
3.
Okay.
So
I was just tripping on my daughter screaming in the background.
it's okay. She sounds like she's having a great time. Anyway, so yeah, it was a confusing list. It's very unique, but it was hard.
Should definitely go without saying that they come and they go.
Yes, they do.
I didn't struggle here. My list has 60 songs on it, and I made a playlist on YouTube, on my personal YouTube account, a Shane Wyndham account, where you can go hear all the songs, except for the very last one, because it's Eager Beaver.
Okay.
I think it's Eager Beaver. It's either Eager Beaver or My Dick by
Gotta burn some calories.
Alligator. No, it's Alligator Dave.
That's Calories.
Yeah, you're
What I'm
thinking
singing.
you're thinking of somebody else.
Yeah.
But that one was a live version. I couldn't find any other version. But yeah, what the fuck though? Seriously,
What?
it's not on Spotify.
I know.
Get it together. Get your shit together. My favorite part is a lot of these songs, they're not even for sale either. You go to Amazon, you go to iTunes, you try to buy the shit. Nope. Aren't y'all trying to make some fucking money?
Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler to my list as a whole. It does pertain, and I'm not going to get into politics, but I will mention, it does pertain,
To something we're going to be talking about in a little bit?
yes.
Yes.
I guess I missed that. I don't know how I missed that.
I like to tell myself that as far as Garth Brooks goes, which
Garth
that's
Brooks is
something
another
else,
one.
but it's a different story there. And I don't actually know the story. I just like to
Prince was another one.
I like to joke on Garth Brooks.
Uh-huh.
So I tend to think like he's out there, on his private millionaire land or whatever, doing his 2 or 3 concerts a year and thinking, CDs are going to make a comeback. Compact discs are coming back. You just wait. This internet shit ain't lasting. Although that's
Classic
overly fair
8-track.
because that gives him a country accent and
He has one.
that he talks in purposely. It's like me on the podcast.
Oh.
He just fell into country, realized he was good at it.
And then fell out of it.
Yeah.
And then fell back in.
And then fell back in.
We don't want to talk about that. But for my story on Songs Not Found on Spotify it's about, oh my God.
Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt.
My song pick for Songs Not Found on Spotify is Eyes of a Stranger by the Payolas. For years, this was unavailable on Spotify.
Literal years, okay?
I shit you not. For years. I can remember, like I said before, for years. This was not found on Spotify. I remember as soon as I found Spotify and I logged in, like I signed up, whatever, I was in high school. I had searched for it within its search engine.
The only known way to search for something.
I fucking give up, dude. I give up. I'm saying search and years a lot.
Raven did not realize the special would be the thing that broke her.
I just want to drink. I just want to drink and play games.
Well, come on.
All right. Mine is, like I said, Eyes of a Stranger. Are you going to cut all this?
By the Payolas.
Are you going to cut all this?
I don't know.
Okay. My pick is Eyes of a Stranger by the Payolas. For years, this was not available on Spotify. I can remember as soon as I found out Spotify was a thing, I had searched for it, with it only recently becoming available. If you're a lover of 80s emotional tracks, I am now thankful you will never know the pain I endured over the past decade. It's also from Valley Girl soundtrack.
Valley Girl.
I was going to do the Chef's Kiss, but I'm not. But Chef's Kiss. Yeah, it's a great track. They also do Million Miles Away from that soundtrack too. Shut up.
Give it the chef's hug. What's the... What the fuck? All right, songs not on Spotify. My story pick here was I Choked Linda Lovelace.
Okay.
By David Allan Coe. Some of you think it's called Linda Lovelace. Fuck you, as Rayburn would say. Fuck you.
I'm right.
It's
You're
called
wrong.
I Choked Linda Lovelace. This is music you will truly never hear on Spotify and comes from an album known by many LimeWire survivors as 18 X-rated hits. Joel once picked me up in an ethnically diverse apartment complex on a Sunday afternoon when all the church folk were home and barbecuing, and he was playing this jaw-droppingly racist vulgar album. Homie had all the windows down on his car, and I had to walk my pasty self to that sumbitch like there was no cause for concern. Had flashbacks to a 5-year-old me at the very same apartment complex getting my ass beat by an older black girl who was mad that I dared simply to look her way. Luckily, no one seemed to mind Joel's foolishness on the day in question. So here I am, rambling on the podcast.
That's
and
okay.
Rayburn's favorite special of all time.
Yes, because I clearly am not doing anything. Maybe one time we'll switch a little bit. You should just show up unprepared and just see what happens.
That wouldn't go well.
Yeah, you're a Virgo.
If you ever want to see how it's like when I'm unprepared, just watch our promo videos that she puts online.
Yeah, you do great in those.
Sometimes.
We cut them. They're good.
I'm always torn between being serious, just letting you have the spotlight,
being grumpy or being silly.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you. That's like you in a nutshell, pretty much.
Let's go talk about your Storyteller albums, Rayburn.
Yeah, let's do that.
Your VH1 MTV.
I got a lot to say about my picks, so let's go.
All right. So I'm still driving this big rig, this choo-choo train, whatever the fuck it is you say all the time.
I call it like a disco big rig.
Disco big rig.
Have you ever seen the Starsky and Hutch movie?
Anyway,
Oh my God.
The first album Rayburn picked was the MTV Unplugged number 2.0 by Miss Lauryn Hill from 2002.
I will say, before we move on, for mine, I chose one that I knew about, one for the listeners, and one that I hadn't known about.
Oh my God, y'all, she picked one for you guys.
I did.
What's that?
The one for the listeners?
Mm-hmm.
Nirvana.
Okay. That's you front loading right here because, yeah.
Because what?
Because of your feelings about what we're about to talk about, I'm guessing.
Oh,
maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
What do you think? Where do you think Lauryn Hill falls in those categories?
Miss Lauryn Hill. I don't want to speculate on yours anymore. I'm tired of speculation.
She's the one that I didn't know, but...
Yeah, that's what I thought.
She is. And I picked her because of, something that a couple of things that I read about, popular Unplugged. Although I wish I would have opted for another female vocalist Unplugged. But let's get through this, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that.
This is just your day of regrets. What the hell?
I know. I don't know. I don't usually feel a lot of regret, but Shane really knows how to bring it out in a girl.
That's for damn sure. Sorry, ladies.
Yeah.
This was my bottom album. This double album was my bottom album.
It was also my bottom album.
Out of the 22 tracks, I gave 1 5.
I also gave 1 5.
My top track was I Get Out.
My top track was Just Like Water.
That's a little surprising.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
I like being surprised by you, Rayburn.
You're welcome.
My bottom track was Interlude 7.
I put the interludes. The album, I get why they're there. She's interacting with the audience. She shares a couple laughs with them. She's really showing her personality. Could have cut the album in half because of the interludes. I mean, I know it's an experience, but add it on to a track. Okay. Beginning or end of a track. I don't think it should be a standalone. And this was my double album that I got Shane back for his Counting Crows pick. So I didn't feel very bad at picking this double album. But Hill's voice is incredibly soulful. I'm not going to take that away from her. She is a master at her craft. R&B, soul, songs rely heavily on vocals to carry them throughout. I could listen to her sing with no accompaniment, no problem. At times it's erratic. Like I said, too many interludes. Chill, but maybe leans too much on the religious side.
This effort isn't without a good amount of merit. I even enjoyed plenty of the interludes in my own way. I really did. It was just that number 7, and it was only because it felt pointless. That one in particular was just like, we tune in over there. What's it going? Here's a song. Didn't dig that one. I'm gonna agree with most critics, though, in calling this too self-indulgent. For me, it's also too religious, musically bare, and samey. The poetic raps were a highlight for me, and I think plenty of these R5s with some full band production behind them. That's not the point though. So this album just wasn't for me.
Yeah, this album was a jam sesh. That's essentially what it was. There were times where she messed up in a song. She started over. She acknowledged that she fucked up. And she even said, most of these songs don't even have titles.
Yeah, it's humanizing. It is extremely humanizing. And I think that deserves a good amount of appreciation. She was also, it felt like using it as a way to look at celebrities in a different light. Yeah, ignore my celebrity, pay attention to the person that's under this mask that you may know. And there was also a lot that felt like she was seeing a psychiatrist, using the audience as like therapy.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, I get that.
And I don't hate any of those things.
Yeah. It's just, I think that I went into it with expecting a very different listening experience. And I was kind of disappointed that my hopes were a little bit higher when it came to this contribution, because Lauryn Hill's great. I think she does a lot of wonderful work. Who I would have opted for instead, and like I said, I was really, really torn. I would have probably gone with Alanis.
Okay.
I think, or Alanis, however you want to call it. I think that might have been a little bit better of a choice. But hey, hindsight's 20/20. What are you gonna do?
I think if I could marry someone, it would be Alanis.
You would want to marry Alanis Morissette?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like her. I mean...
Me too.
I like your wife better.
Me too.
Yeah.
No, I feel a serious kinship to when Alanis starts writing... I don't know why we're talking about Alanis
I could
Morissette
totally
right
see
now.
you dating her.
Yeah, that place she goes to where she's drawing lyrical inspiration and everything. I feel such a kinship to that. Anyway.
This has turned into the Alanis Morissette special.
Yes. There's definitely something to be said for Lauryn Hill's effort here. I gave a lot of 4s. So take that with a grain of salt. Again, not for me, but I think it could be for a lot of people. Your second pick was Neil Young's Unplugged from 1993.
I'm sorry.
Because it's not on Spotify?
It's not on Spotify. And back to songs not on Spotify. Yeah, I forgot, or I didn't know. I think I forgot. I think I'd heard something. Neil Young's contributions are not on Spotify anymore because of his political views, which it's like his opinion, man, but I just wanted to listen to your Unplugged. Not there, but it is available on YouTube.
I didn't want to listen to Neil Young's Unplugged, but this was my top album.
This was also my top album.
Out of the 14 tracks, I gave 14 5s.
Damn, this show am good.
See, I'm going to cut that.
Why?
Because that's mine.
Fine. Wow. Perfect rating from Mr. Neil Young.
What about you?
I gave 4 5s out of 14 tracks.
My top track was Unknown Legend.
My top track was Helpless.
My bottom track was Like a Hurricane.
My bottom track was Pocahontas. It's a little too on the nose there, Mr. Neil. I mean, stay in your lane with that one.
Bob Dylan Meets America. While as a free speech hardliner, I may be in complete opposition to his anti-Spotify stance, there's no denying that this music is phenomenal. Bluesy, somber folk with tinges of country. This is the sort of music I could listen to all day long. Perfect for a road trip. I was mostly inexperienced with this artist, but if he ever comes to his senses, I intend to take a deep dive with his music.
Yeah, this is classic road trip music. Simple music with an acoustic and a harmonica, Southern-inspired traveling music. I felt the same way about music like this as I did with Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, older, but definitely I got that vibe. And I just wanted to pack a bag and just get in a car and just go.
There's so much classic, like, storyteller stuff here. I could see, if you want to draw comparisons to, like, Sean Mullins, Guy Clark, I want to say that the main melody of Like a Hurricane endlessly leaves me thinking about the breakdown in Copeland's song Choose the One Who Loves You More. It's so similar. Given this was Like a Hurricane was written way before that was. So
I was very pleasantly surprised with Neil Young's Unplugged. My only knock about the music is it's not available on Spotify, and that's his stance at this time, and that's completely up to him. But yeah, man, come to your senses because shit's good. People want to hear it.
Yeah, I just think censorship is never a good thing.
Well,
End of story.
Well, no. Let's take this back. We don't have to get into it. To my knowledge, he took his stuff off of Spotify
because
Joe
Spotify
Rogan
is not deplatforming Joe Rogan. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, and I'm not gonna get into the opinions of Spotify and Joe Rogan and
it's all about
Neil Young
disinformation and what we classify as disinformation. I think like a lot of my favorite political people online have already stated there is no ministry of truth. It's really difficult to have. I think the closest we come, and I'm pretty sure Neil Young and I would agree on this, is scientific consensus. And that's the problem with stuff like what he's been upset about is it's too new. What we're talking about, new diseases that are coming up and the information behind it that's changing constantly because we're learning new things about it. Misinformation is really a hard label to give. You've got mainstream news networks that are still pushing fucking propaganda.
Yeah, you and I have, like I said, we're not going to get into it because we have established that we're going to try to leave the artist's political, religious views out of our opinion of them as much as possible. But you and I have talked privately about what you think as far as when it comes to things like that and, vice versa. So I wish that his music was made available. Good thing that we were able to listen to it. I guess I should have considered that when picking these albums, but I'm kind of glad that I didn't because it gave me an opportunity to listen to this album. Oh, great. And it's great.
Great fucking CD.
So
amazing. Anyway, your third was Nirvana's MTV Unplugged in New York from 1994. This was my middle album.
This was also my middle album, which, like I said, I chose it for the listeners because I think when you think of Unplugged, you gotta think of this version.
Yeah.
Like, this is a well-known version. And I just thought that we would be doing the listeners a disservice if I didn't pick it.
Out of the 14 tracks, I gave 6 5s.
I gave 0 5s.
Okay, and I thought I was being harsh.
Yeah, no.
My top track was Where Did You Sleep Last Night?
My top track was Jesus Doesn't Want Me for a Sunbeam.
Okay. My bottom track was On a Plane.
And my bottom track was Plateau.
I love Plateau.
I'm not surprised.
Call me crazy. But
no, I'm going to call you Shane and leave it at that.
I'm actually glad that was your bottom track because I think sometimes when people say On a Plane, they're thinking of Plateau. Yeah. Not the same thing. I've got a soft spot for this album in spite of not loving it quite as much as some people I know. While it's completely listenable, it also suffers from the simple nature of being grunge in a less electric setting, which, in spite of Kurt's compelling voice, makes me feel low and numb. The last third of the album, though, is pretty special, the majority being covers of Meat Puppets songs. This is Nirvana gone intimate with a very mellow result. While I like it, I also wouldn't go as far as calling it an essential listen. Should also be noted that they kind of cheated a bit. There's a lot of electric effects and stuff going on. Gorgeous sound, and I think I'm probably undervaluing certain songs, but yeah.
This is classic Nirvana grunge, as Shane said. With the Unplugged, you can really focus on Cobain's vocals, haunted in a way, and the harmonies are cool at times. Another thing that I will add is while I chose this Unplugged to focus on, like we have stated in a past episode, we did cover Nirvana. I have found that while I respect the work that Cobain and Nirvana did all these years as being one of the, top 90s bands or top bands of all time, I respect their work. It's not something that I'm going to gravitate towards really on any occasion at this point in my life.
I think what hurts with a band like Nirvana is just the amount of potential. Like just those 3 albums, right? They're so different, but they have this underlying greatness to, like, there's something about it. And you could see, like, if they had enough time and enough just ability to record and keep making music, like what would have come out of that group. Yeah. It's kind of amazing. Anyway, I also think on this album particularly, some Meat Puppets members were actually playing different instruments in the background and stuff. So that's cool since they were using some covers there toward the end. Yeah. Who won for you?
Oh, you hands down.
Okay.
The Nirvana album and the Lauryn Hill album hurt me.
Okay.
And I'm not mad about it, honestly. Dashboard was great. While I wasn't a huge fan of like the Alice in Chains, it fell right in the middle for me.
Yeah.
But that Counting Crows and Dashboard Confessional, they were something a little extraordinary.
Yeah.
And I would call against my one Neil Young album, which was spectacular. Yeah, you definitely took it. And I'm not mad about it.
I'll also say about your double album, it feels more like a solo, like a single disc album, just because of all the talking tracks or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I would say it was quite a bit closer if I think of it as 3 discs versus my 4 discs.
Yeah.
You know, you may not have one for me this week, but I appreciate the risks you took, and that Neil Young album rocked my heart. So thanks for that.
You're welcome. I'm glad I can contribute, because it sure as fuck is not going to be in stories this episode.
And speaking of,
like that transition?
Yeah. Okay, so 5 more stories. Y'all still with me? You paid for it. I hope you're still here.
God, if they leave at this point, they're saints.
Songs forever stuck in your head. I went with Chicken Attack by the Gregory Brothers.
Sorry.
I recently bought my son a Bluetooth speaker and a CD player that can play MP3 CDs. When I was charging the things, I tried explaining to him that it would let him listen to all the music he pleased. Basically, if he wanted to listen to Taylor Swift or Metallica or whatever he wanted, right? Those are things he's had exposure to for one reason or another. His response, maybe Chicken Attack?
And you're like, I love you.
My wife laughed, but I assured him he'd be able to play Chicken Attack. And this is a very cute story. Hell, it was even a funny story to tell until I gave him that first MP3 CD, not realizing that Chicken Attack was indeed on the disc. I'd made him a handful of them, just to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably played that song 100 times in the last week. He'll sit in his room with this on repeat, making his stuffed animals fight each other. While this song was already sufficiently stuck in my head, it is now there forever as a result of what I just shared. No shit. We were walking around cleaning the other day, and Megan says, he's not playing Chicken Attack right now. I'm just hearing it in my head and didn't realize he's not playing it. Make it fucking stop.
Well, for my pick for Songs Forever Stuck in Your Head, I'm going to go with 2 half-ass stories to hopefully make up one whole-ass story.
Bang, bang.
First one is Meet Me at Her Spot by The Anxiety. Yeah, thank you, TikTok, for getting that song stuck in my head. You
don't want to mention Willow?
Oh, Willow and Tyler, what's his face? I can't remember his name.
This is the live version you're talking about?
No, it's the recorded version.
The real version?
Yeah. Do you like the live version better? Okay.
Yeah.
Willow has a lot of promise. Even back in the day with her I Whip My Hair Back and Forth contributions. She's very different, and I kind of respect the person that she's turning into. You can definitely tell that she's going to pave her own path if she has not already. And that song just fucking gets stuck in my head, man. But not a bad one. And like I said, I make no excuses for my pick.
Yeah, Rayburn caught a vibe.
Yeah, maybe I'm coming on.
Go ahead.
And my second half-ass story for Songs Forever Stuck in Your Head is Your Love by The Outfield. Do me a favor. Hear this.
You can't play it.
Just the beginning.
You can't.
Why?
Because we're selling it.
Fuck. Do me a favor. Hear the beginning of Your Love by The Outfield and tell me, I dare you, tell me that is not Ed from Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Wow. I never know what the fuck sort of reference you're going to
Dude.
Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Do you know what I'm talking about? You can cut this.
Don't play it. I don't want to have to cut it.
Fine.
God, man. I'm getting mad over here.
I'm angry. I'm going to forget to show you later.
Childhood favorites. That's where my next pick comes from. It's All My Exes Live in Texas by George Strait. Oh, so I'll keep this one short. I grew up hearing stories about how I would dance and sing this song on coffee tables in my cowboy hat as a very little kid. I've no memory of doing that, but I do find some irony in the eventual reality of my life being one in which all my exes lived in Texas. Even my New York loving ex still routinely finds her way back to Texas, and I guess little Shane really knew what was up, because I sure would love to hang my hat in Tennessee.
Okay. All right. Well, my pick is Kiss from a Rose by Seal. And again, this is childhood favorites. My list consisted of 100 picks, but I went with this one because we have actual video evidence of me singing this in the background of one of our home videos growing up. And all you can hear is little Rayburn going, baby, in the background. Of course, I didn't know all the words, but damn did I nail that, baby. So, thank you, Seal.
Songs to Start Your Day is where the next one comes from. A song called That Great Come and Get It Day. It's from Finian's Rainbow soundtrack. Now, I didn't write the artist down. I apologize. I think it's a handful of them. Might just be, God, it's really bugging me. I can't think of his name. Anyway.
Just say his character name.
Woody?
It's Woody's song.
It feels so wrong. I know his name. This part of Finian's Rainbow shows some people looking through massive shopping catalogs, thinking they can have anything they want. And this always appealed to me, having grown up with those same gargantuan catalogs from places like Sears, thinking someday I could order any damn thing I please, no worry about fucking money. And I'm happy to report that my own great come and get it day has arrived, more or less. See, I was recently invited to be one of those people who gets free products in exchange for honest reviews, and that's a life perk I just never saw coming. By the way, don't get it twisted, I still pay taxes on the stuff I order, but we're talking like 1/5 what most people pay in the end. It's glorious, and serves as proof that you can't count out good things coming your way unexpectedly.
Yeah, I kind of wish your son was here so that we can play with those laser guns that he got, the laser tag guns. Those things are awesome.
They are awesome.
I just want to play with him, like in the dark in your backyard with him. He would have like the best time if he doesn't run into another wall.
We'll get there.
My pick for songs to start your day is Jesus of Suburbia by Green Day. I know that when I listen to this track, no matter what comes my way, the shit show that's waiting down the street or the okay day that I somehow manage to find myself in, I know that at the end of the day, if I have a small group of people to count on, that's all I really need to get through anything.
By the way, you use the word shit show a lot. I feel like it should be on your tombstone. Like, here lies Rayburn. She did not survive the shit show.
If you outlive me and survive me, I'm going to make that your responsibility.
Next pick is from Top Vocal Performances. It's a song called Burn by In This Moment. The last poetry collection I published was a bunch of stuff I thought I'd lost forever, only to stumble back across thanks to advances in technology, rebuilding bridges with folks from my past, etc. I called it The First Phoenix because the name cut a through line for me from the first time I lost work, back when I bawled and burnt all that writing as a youngster, to when I most recently noticed while listening to this song that Word had corrupted a preliminary file where I was storing stuff for my 9th poetry collection, A Bar in Brooklyn. I feel like a creature of rebirth and reinvention sometimes, and I've outlived plenty of things I thought would kill me. Eventually I will die. Until then, though, even my long-lost poetry keeps rising from the ashes. This song will always remind me of how empowering it felt to publish Book Zero, knowing I wouldn't have believed in its possibility even a year beforehand. Additionally, major thanks to those who bought a copy. It's all I've ever put out in the way of a collector's item and honestly means the world that people have paid that high price for the pleasure. Pretty sure Amazon's got my novel going for like $5 at the moment, but this thing will never cost less than my favorite number, 36.
My pick for best vocal performances is A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. Regardless of what your political views and religious views may be, know that change is necessary, and while we can reminisce on the way things used to be and our jaded views of the good things about our pasts, it will not shield us from the inevitable change that needs to happen in the future.
We's all gonna die.
Yeah, probably. I mean, eventually.
Yeah.
So, and if not, we're gonna wish we were dead.
Yes.
Are you adjusting your nuts over there in your D's Nuts shirt?
The fucking crease in my pants is running right down the middle of my sack. It
you
hurt.
got some major camel toe over there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Songs by multi-vocal groups. That's where the next pick comes from. Kings of the Weekend by Blink-182. Rayburn?
Mm-hmm.
This song makes me think of, if you can believe it, your boyfriend, Blue.
Okay.
When he and I are of the same mindset, we really do have a blast. And when I hear this, I think about all those parties, cabin trips, and gaming sessions we've enjoyed. Whether it's fine-tuning my table games, rewiring all the electric in my house for free, or being someone who's forever there to experience a Destiny raid with for the first time, his presence has meant a lot. So may drunken raids and bond parties someday enjoy a triumphant return with Blue still in tow. Y'all need to quit fucking around and move to Denton already, by the way.
I mean, if you invite me, I'm going to inevitably bring him, but you could just invite him and not have me included. So we all know that's what you really want anyway, right?
What, for him to move by himself to Denton?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it would make it easier on you doing this podcast where we've
without
sufficiently
me.
rambled today. You want me to do the podcast without you?
No,
okay.
what? I'm saying is you guys, I'm beginning to think that our family would like more family functions with him and without me.
No, I don't know about that.
It seems like Blue's everybody's favorite. And I'm not mad about it because I picked him. So, you know.
Our family's fucked up. There's no such thing as a happy family function for everybody.
I was going to say, was that supposed to be a statement or were you tying that on to something that you... Okay. Because our family is fucked up, but it's
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
I'm part of what's
It's
fucked up with
ours.
our family,
Yeah.
so are you.
Yeah. All right. Well, my pick for songs with multiple songs with multi-vocal singers in it, groups with multi-vocal singers. I don't know.
Songs by multi-vocal groups.
There we go. Speaking of Blue, I went with You Dropped the Bomb on Me by the Gap Band. To this day, Blue will turn this on, and it is his absolute favorite. If you've seen the music video, you know what I'm talking about, because I will never get the view of a guy with a fucking faded, tall top haircut and a red cup out of my head because of Blue, and knowing that image brings him such joy.
It's like he looks in the mirror and that's what he's hoping to see. Is that what you imagine?
No, he's still trying to convince me that he somehow needs a mullet for comedy purposes.
Oh.
But, and
you're not willing to go along with the mullet, Rayburn?
Nope. I can't bring myself to do it, Shane. I just can't. I know they're making a comeback, but I don't know how they were ever in style.
I fucking hate that look.
I do too.
Absolutely hate it.
So
some of y'all have gorgeous kids out there too, running around with mullets. Like even like kids that are graduating high school. I have friends, and they, your kids pull off the look
because they're young and
but they
ignorant.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, no.
Don't do them like that. Don't Joe Dirt these motherfuckers.
And they all get perms. They all get perms on the back half because they can't just rock it natural. They all got to get these $80 to $100 perms. That was a jab at my brother. Because they have to have that extra bounce in the back.
I call it a billy curl.
Get it together, man.
Sorry.
God.
I had so many laughs editing Logan's episode. Like good laughs. Not like I'm laughing at you.
He's funny.
But like I'm laughing at you.
My brother, he's a pain in the ass, but he's like, he could do anybody's stand up. He is hilarious. And then he laughs at his own jokes and you cannot help, but it's like infectious. I swear he gets that from my dad, but he's funny. My brother is probably one of the funniest people that I've ever known. And it's a good thing that he has to pay for this episode because he will never hear me say that regardless.
And thanks to everyone who is listening. Just so you know, you'll still get these. We're doing each show that's public a month apart. Mm-hmm. But this will still come the 2 weeks between the finale and the first episode of the next season. We are still working out the kinks here, so apologies that we don't have the Tim McGraw, Toby Keith stuff ready for you to know which albums we're getting ready to cover. Mm-hmm. But definitely thanks for continuing to listen. And
follow us on social media and you will see that list pop up very shortly. Follow us on Facebook.
That's going to do it for this week. Hit up our playlist on Spotify, visit our merch shop, share our show with your friends. Come find us on social media to let us know what you think. And until next time, fill your world with music.
And thanks again for paying actual money to hear us babble like fucking idiots.